Sometimes real life is far more disturbing than fiction. There are cases so strange, so twisted, that even experienced detectives struggle to understand what really happened. Tonight, we're covering 3 true crime mysteries with shocking twists you would never expect. A young girl who spent her entire life living under a fake identity. A 4-year-old boy whose murder divided an entire country. And a missing child who suddenly returned home years later. Except there was one terrifying problem. He wasn't actually the missing boy. These are not movie plots. These stories are completely real. So turn off the lights, put your headphones on, and prepare yourself for 3 of the most disturbing mysteries ever recorded. In the 1980s, there was a young woman named Sharon Marshall. To everyone around her, Sharon seemed perfect. She was beautiful, intelligent, polite, and incredibly talented. Teachers loved her. She earned top grades, she won science competitions, and she dreamed of becoming a doctor one day. But behind the smile and perfect student image, Sharon was living inside a nightmare. She traveled constantly with an older man named Clarence Hughes, who claimed to be her father. But people noticed strange things about him. He was extremely controlling. He moved from city to city all the time. He changed names frequently. And he never allowed Sharon to get too close to anyone. It almost felt like he was hiding from something. Even though Sharon had opportunities for college scholarships and a bright future ahead of her, Clarence always found ways to stop her from becoming independent. Then, investigators later discovered something horrifying. Sharon had allegedly suffered years of abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and possibly even worse. But the most disturbing part of all was this: Sharon never knew who she really was, because Sharon Marshall was not her real name. In 1989, Sharon was found dead under suspicious circumstances. Authorities ruled it an overdose. The case was quickly closed, and for years, nobody questioned it. But later, investigators uncovered a shocking truth. Clarence Hughes was not Clarence Hughes at all. His real name was Franklin Delano Floyd, a dangerous criminal with a long history of violence, fraud, and fake identities. As detectives dug deeper into his past, the entire story completely changed. DNA evidence and old missing persons reports eventually revealed the truth. Sharon Marshall was actually a missing child named Suzanne Marie Sevakis. When Suzanne was very young, she had been kidnapped from her biological family. Franklin Floyd raised her under a fake identity and controlled her entire life. Imagine discovering that your name, your past, your childhood, everything you believed about yourself was a lie. For years, Suzanne's real family searched for her. They believed she might still be alive somewhere, but while they searched, Suzanne was trapped in a life built on manipulation and fear. To this day, many questions remain unanswered. Did Sharon ever suspect that Clarence was not really her father? Did she discover the truth before her death? And was her death truly accidental, or something much darker? Officially, many answers were never found. But one thing is certain: this was not just a kidnapping case, it was the complete theft of a human life. But if you think that story was disturbing, the next case became one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in French history. In 1984, the Villemain family lived in a quiet village in France. From the outside, everything seemed normal. But behind closed doors, someone was secretly watching them. For years, the family had received anonymous letters and threatening phone calls. The mysterious caller became known as the Raven, whoever this person was. They knew intimate details about the family. They knew where they went, what they did, and what happened inside their home. Then, on October 16th, 1984, everything changed. 4-year-old Gregory Villemain suddenly disappeared. His parents panicked, police launched an urgent search, but only hours later, Gregory's body was discovered in a river. His hands and feet had been tied. France was horrified. Who could do something so brutal to a small child? Then the family received another phone call. The anonymous caller calmly said, "I killed your son." The entire country became obsessed with the case. Television stations covered it constantly. Newspapers printed updates every day. And soon, suspicion turned toward the family itself, because the Raven clearly knew them personally. One relative named Bernard Laroche quickly became the main suspect. A witness claimed to have seen him with Gregory before the murder. Police arrested him. But then the case took a shocking turn. Gregory's father, Jean-Marie Villemain, became convinced that Bernard was the killer. Believing the justice system was failing him, he decided to take matters into his own hands. One day, Jean-Marie arrived at Bernard Laroche's house with a shotgun, and he shot him dead. The entire nation was stunned. Some people believed he was a grieving father taking revenge for his son. Others believed he had destroyed the investigation forever. But the twists did not stop there. Soon, suspicion shifted toward Gregory's own mother, Christine Villemin. Handwriting experts claimed that the anonymous letters matched her writing style. The media turned against her almost overnight. Imagine losing your child in one of the most horrifying ways possible, and then becoming the prime suspect yourself. Christine was arrested, then released. Charges were eventually dropped. Over the years, the case reopened multiple times. New suspects appeared. DNA evidence was tested. Family members were investigated again and again. But even after decades, nobody has officially been convicted of Gregory's murder. To this day, the case remains unsolved. And the scariest possibility of all, the killer may have been someone extremely close to the family from the very beginning. But the final case is so unbelievable that if it hadn't been fully documented, most people would never believe it actually happened. In 1994, a 13-year-old boy named Nicholas Barclay disappeared from Texas. One moment he was there, the next, he was gone. Police searched for answers. His family desperately hoped he would return, but months turned into years, and eventually the case went cold. Then suddenly, 3 years later, everything changed. The family received shocking news from Europe. Authorities claimed Nicholas had been found alive in Spain. His family was overwhelmed with emotion. After years of pain and uncertainty, their missing son was finally coming home. But from the moment he arrived, strange things stood out. His accent sounded different. His appearance had changed. Even his eye color seemed wrong. And despite all these obvious differences, the family accepted him. Yes, they truly believed this person was Nicholas Barclay. But some investigators immediately became suspicious. An FBI agent and a private investigator both felt that something was seriously wrong, so they began digging deeper into the story. And eventually, the truth came out. The boy was not Nicholas Barclay. His real name was Frédéric Bourdin, a French con artist known for impersonating missing children. He later became known as the Chameleon because of his ability to adopt fake identities. Using fake, emotional stories and manipulation, he somehow convinced authorities and even Nicholas's family that he was the missing teenager. But the biggest mystery was not how Frederick fooled everyone. The real mystery was this: why did the family ignore so many obvious differences? Some investigators began to suspect that the family may have known he was not really Nicholas. Others believed they were simply desperate to believe their missing son had returned. And then another disturbing theory appeared. What if something terrible had already happened to the real Nicholas? What if the family knew more than they admitted? To this day, Nicholas Barclay's true fate remains unknown. His body was never found, and Frederick Bourdin's bizarre deception remains one of the strangest identity fraud cases in true crime history. These three stories all share one terrifying truth. Reality is not always simple. A young woman whose entire identity was stolen, a child murder that still haunts France decades later, and a missing boy whose place was taken by a complete stranger. The reason real-life mysteries are so disturbing is because they don't always have endings. Sometimes the answers never come, and sometimes the truth stays buried forever. If you enjoyed this documentary-style true crime video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below which case shocked you the most. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who appear completely normal.